Hey guys, Kawan from Moonrunner, senior officer in Untold Retribution. We're looking for tanks. My question is actually in regards to healers. First of all, I love what you're doing with the healers, how you kind of made it back to vanilla healing. But I play 3 out of the 4 healing classes, and I'm kind of stuck on what to do with Holy Pallies, because priests have always used Spirit, and druids and shamans now revolve around Spirit. So with Holy Pallies, are you supposed to stack Spirit or Mastery, or how does that work in with the other healing classes?
You definitely, all the healers should want Spirit, up to a point. I wouldn't make that. Players sometimes look at things like reforging and gemming and enchanting, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to stack the one stat. If we do our jobs right, all of the stats will be attractive, and a balance of them will be, will be the ultimate way to go. Now, Spirit's one of those things that once you have enough, you're probably good, and then you can start looking at other things. And it's definitely true that on live, the healing plate doesn't have as much Spirit as some of the other gear sets do, because we just didn't, used to not be a stat anyone would want, and even MP5 was something Paladins would want to avoid. So there'll be more Spirit and definitely more of a need for it as you level up higher. And we want the Mastery to be cool too. We'll just have to see how that goes.
Thank you.
Hi, Aetherius of Casmoden here. I'm a Resto Druid. I wanted to ask you a question regarding the Emerald Dream, and if we're going to see any incarnation other than a phase, and just, a separate map, dungeon, raid, expansion. I mean, can we look forward to that?
I think you can count on it. It's a matter of when, not if. So eventually, when the time is right, you will see the dream and the nightmare again.
Thank you.
Nice hat.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Nokomis from Zangarmarsh. And first thing, I have a little suggestion. I think that dwarf shamans should have beer keg totems. And also my question is, I'm an achievement fiend, and I was just wondering if you're ever planning to use, let people use their achievement points, because I know you have that new list of, the numbers like 1, 2, 3 in your guild, and I was just curious.
Depends on what you mean by use them. I mean, really the achievement points are intended to be like a high score mechanic, and really that's all they're meant to be. We don't have plans for people to translate them into character power or anything like that somehow, because that would cause a lot of really icky behavior if everybody felt like they had to go out and get every achievement, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be competitive or whatever. It's really just meant to be a pride and fun sort of thing.
Yeah, that was the reason behind adding that into the new guild UI, was just kind of like so you could look in the guild, kind of like a pride thing, like Tom was saying, just to see who has the most within the guild.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's a cool idea, too. I like the beer keg totem idea. Can we use that? Can I have that, please?
Hello. First, a shout out to the Earth and Ring roleplay community. My question is, well, there's a lot of great mounts coming out with Cataclysm. I was wondering about multi-person mounts, particularly profession-crafted ones, and if there are some coming out, I think engineering should get a minivan.
Have you heard about the new alchemy mount? That one's going to be hard to get. It'll be fun to see who gets it first.
But it's awesome.
But it's awesome. Who doesn't want to mount their friend? I mean, can I say that? Yeah.
Thanks.
How you guys doing? First of all, I'm glad to hear you guys confirming the new legendary, but my question is, will the legendary be available in both 10 and 25? And also, will it scale similar to the way Valinir did, to where it lasted upwards to 2 contents higher and was still viable?
I think that at this stage, we'd probably want the legendary to be available for both 10 and 25. I mean, there's... As far as, how far it scales, that's really hard to say. I mean, we do like it when legendaries stick around longer than normal items. I mean, they definitely should do that. but it's always tricky to balance exactly how far out it goes. It sort of depends on where in the expansion cycle we are relative to when the next expansion will come out, that sort of thing.
Thanks.
This is Ecolian from Arthas, and basically, I originally liked the idea that you guys had of lowering the talents, but now I've kind of noticed I really hate the fact that there's no uniqueness anymore. Everybody's going to be the exact same number of specs or number of talents for marksmanship for marksmanship hunters, and they're going to put the same amount into survival. There's not going to be any difference. There's no uniqueness. So I was wondering if you were ever planning on going back to extending it and giving us more options, and it's just kind of become more noob friendly. I was wondering if you guys were going to do that.
Damn noobs.
Do you think the older, deeper talent trees, people actually had specs that were that different from each other?
They didn't.
We know. We looked. No, like I said, it's a new design. It's an ongoing thing. We want to make sure there are choices to where you can go deeper, you can go sideways. Those last 10 points you get to spend are some of the most exciting ones in the tree because you decide you're going to put them all in one tree, you're going to put 5 here, 5 here. We'll get there. We'll see what the kind of specs develop, and hopefully we can tweak things to where there's not the obvious choices.
There were definitely cookie cutter specs before this change, and there are likely to be some specs that end up being a little bit too cookie cutter after, and we'll just have to fix those specs individually.
Well, I was just thinking because like some mages used to run with like Frostfire, like half would go into fire and half would go into frost, and that was something that was fun for players. So I'm just saying, like, we can't stop halfway and then go into the next tree. We have to go all the way down and into the next. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's some inaccuracy there. Nobody really went half fire and half frost. They pretty much always went mostly fire and then, some frost. Otherwise, you were kind of gimping yourself a little bit. So, yeah, we did take away some ways for people to gimp themselves.
Thanks.
Sup, I'm Squeak from Destromass. Shout out to my friends in the guild. Nah, I'm straight bra and I'm full of chocolate. Anyway, down to serious business. I'm wondering, right now, Ret Paladins and Arms Warriors, they used to have the talent to reduce duration of disarms. They don't anymore. So they're kind of stuck getting a weapon chain for PvP. And I'm wondering if that's intended and if maybe, because rogues can have offhand weapon chain and then berserking or whatever in their main hand, and they get that nice buff every once in a while, but warriors and Ret Paladins don't. Is that just what you want, or are they going to have a little more damage so that it's kind of even, or what's the plan for that?
So one of the things we did in the talent tree overhauls is we got rid of a lot of the kind of anti-crowd control measures. We felt, I say this a lot, we felt we were in an arms race where, okay, I have a disarm, and then he has something that makes a disarm worse, so then the new talent gives you an even better disarm that doesn't apply to that like anti-disarm thing, and it just keeps getting out of control. And we thought, let's just go back to when you crowd control someone, most of the time it works, and we have diminishing returns for PvP, and balance it around that. And make sure people can't die within one crowd control. You shouldn't be, you're not going to lose the match because you were disarmed for a short period of time.
Thank you.
Hi. Do you intend to make anything besides heirlooms account bound, such as titles, mounts, or achievements?
Certainly, wherever it's appropriate, we do like doing that. I mean, account-bound items are really cool for sure, because we know people level up a lot of alts. We do have to, things that are not character power oriented are definitely a higher chance of having that done, because, obviously it's not going to break somebody's leveling experience if we give you like an account-bound mount or something like that. So it is something that we'd like to do. It's just a question of when and where.
Many of the archaeology items are actually, they're not heirlooms, but they're account bound, so you can trade them around to your different characters.
The same thing with the new guild mount. The guild mount is account bound as well from the new guild leveling system.
I would like to ask for a closet. Something similar to a keychain. We've got all these wonderful festival items and Midsummer Night and all that stuff. and no place to put them.
Yeah, that is actually something that we had hoped to get in with Cataclysm. It's really more of a question of resolving data storage and exactly what the interface is and all that kind of stuff. But it is something that we'd like to do at some point.
Thank you. Good question.
What I'm interested in is how excited you guys are to play World of Dresscraft. It's awesome.
Well, I have kind of a lore request. The Horde currently has 2 very shoutable, very good battle cries. And I'm wondering, when the Horde shouts for the Horde, what do I say? I'm wondering if you can give some character somewhere some good thing to shout back.
Have mercy. You know, we've experimented with a slew of battle cries, and nothing has ever quite matched up with For the Horde. It's hard. But when we find it, you'll know.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah, we're going to keep trying. We're not giving up.
That's not the battle cry. We'll keep trying. That'd be fun.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm from Legions on Lightbringer US 38, and my question is in regards to Mastery. You stated that you wanted Mastery to dynamically change up your gameplay, and how does, say, a Warlock or Mage Mastery, which is just a flat damage bonus, change up or affect their gameplay?
It's not so much that we want you to dramatically change your rotations, it's that crit has a very clear purpose. Crit makes you hit harder, makes you heal harder, so it's throughput. And sometimes in the case of healers, we need mana savings too. And then haste lets you do more things, so if you're a caster, you're casting faster. If you're melee, you're getting more resources. So then mastery then makes you better at what you do. So if you're a disciplined priest, it makes you better at shielding. If you're a warlock, it makes you better at shadow or fire damage. If you're a mage, arcane, frost or fire damage. So the hope is that there isn't one right answer, that you might want crit for some builds and haste for other builds. You want a little bit of everything. We're not necessarily trying to totally change up your rotations with mastery, but particularly for mages, haste does a pretty good job of that too already.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elena from IronGaming.com, and I'm currently working on the Insane in the Membrane achievement. Now, with all the changes to Dire Maul North, will I still be able to achieve this achievement in the Cataclysm?
The insanity? I'm sorry, it was hard hearing the question. The
Well,
insanity?
currently, the Insane in the Membrane achievement affects some of the factions that are located within Dire Maul North. Currently, you can't turn in any of the quests, or the Librams aren't dropping in beta. So I was wondering if you guys are planning on keeping it around and or changing the requirements for the achievement.
The biggest problem is the changes to the Bloodsail Buccaneers in Cataclysm. That kind of put a bullet in the head of that feat of strength for now. It's fun to do very painful things in World of Warcraft. If there's a huge outcry for it, we'll try to put something equally brutal in the game.